Hey there, the last, I believe, in our little series on how to make the shoulder plaid. Carrying on directly from what I'd left you with before, the top band is now sewn on in the manner that I'd mentioned. It's a fell seam throughout, fell stitching throughout. I've put a small piece of lining in. Again, it doesn't need lining, but it presents a more finished appearance. And if nothing else, it makes it obvious to all but the meanest of intelligences which is the outside and which is the inside, because you know somebody's going to mount it backwards otherwise. So the label is gone, the label is on. Now, as you can see, the hooks are mounted so that the hook is facing out from the body, because if the hook was facing into the body, in towards the body, it wouldn't take much to bump it off and dismount it. But this way, you have to do this. You have to bring it forward and hook it under to get it in place. And that makes it much more difficult to get off. So I've mounted this. Now there's the center pleat of the kilt. I've mounted this just off of center because I don't want to cover the buckle and strap, because it's going to be fiddly and a pain in the backside if the person has to wrench their plaid out of the way to take the kilt off. So I've used metal, shiny metal hooks, because I've found that when they're black hooks and a dark tartan and black beckets, I guess I could call them, they're just too fiddly and hard to see. And it's just, so by putting these shiny hooks on, it's just making it a little bit easier for the wearer. The hooks are attaching to three, I'm calling them beckets, but I could also call them bar tacks. They're heavy silk thread, half a dozen turns, and then a series of half hitches. So they're quite strong. They won't last forever, but they're going to last a good long time. And because they're dark, they won't look obtrusive. They're not going to stand out and look odd when the person's wearing the kilt with short sleeve, because you see three little metal hooks or three little metal eyes, and people are constantly wondering just what the heck is he mounting his metals on his backside. So there we are. That's mounted in place. And then as we bring it over the shoulder, I've already put on a plaid brooch, mostly as much as anything because I wanted to show this thing off. It's a lovely little Victorian piece. So the front fall is attached, and again I've put a piece over the end just to create a more finished appearance, and also to bulk it up a bit, to hold the weight, to support the weight of the plaid brooch. Now, the final bit of work, mounting the plaid to the shoulder, to the jacket, is going to have to wait till I have the customer in the shop, because I'm going to recommend that you don't put the pin through the jacket, because it'll rapidly ruin the front panel of the coat. We want to we'll take a look at the coat that he's wearing, whether we're going to put a couple of the same sort of bar tack we see here on the coat for this to pass through, or alternately putting a hook on the cloth and then an eye under the collar of the coat, so that the plaid is being held in place by that rather than the plaid brooch. Because again, the problem with the plaid brooch, just holding it on by the plaid brooch, is it's in place even if you've got an epaulette, which I don't consider a good look for coats most times. If it's held on by the plaid brooch, even with the epaulette, you lean forward, the whole mess comes over your shoulder and probably lands in somebody's soup, right? So we're going to wait until the customer is able to come to the shop, and we're going to decide exactly how we're going to put some extra fastenings up there to A, so that it's more secure, but B, so that the plaid will more naturally fall into its most flattering pose. Because once you put this thing on, ideally you look in the mirror, you have someone help you arrange the plaid so it shows the cloth to the best effect. So there we go. We've gone through making the thing step by step. And as usual, I welcome your questions, comments, and concerns, as long as they're civil. And thank you, and carry on.